Hey, Kim, have you ever lied to Connor about anything?
No.
Are you sure?
No.
We're going to talk about lies that grown-ups, and particularly parents, tell to children.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Nonsensicality, where we're going to get to the truth of the matter. We're going to expose the lies. This is going to be controversial. People are going to get upset. If you're a younger person listening to this, you've been warned that there's some things that you're going to hear on this episode that you're going to have conversations with your parents about, because perhaps they're not telling you the full truth.
There's some things that I remember my parents telling me as a kid that I really bought into.
Some things they factor in even when you're older, even when you're not 100% sure. You're just like,
maybe.
So just so you know, we're not going to get into the whole fictional character type thing. That thing, right? We're not getting into whether or not the unicorn is real.
Skip over it.
If you want to believe unicorns are real, believe them. And if you don't believe them.
That's right.
So we're not going to get into unicorns and leprechauns.
Right.
But we're going to get into things that maybe parents said, maybe he's even joking, but you bought it. And that was a lot of the things, like the whole, if you ever had an uncle or something, and obviously this is an audio podcast, but where they make it look like their thumb is detaching. Have you ever seen that one?
Yeah.
And so things like that, it's not really, they're kind of innocent and harmless, but they kind of sometimes might embed themselves into you.
My stepdad was great at that.
He was. Even as a grown-up, when we were dating and first married, he would still roll with some of those. My favorite was the creature that walked the lake at night. And that was
Dude, I still sort of think maybe possibly there was something. Because he would tell this story of this creature that walked the lake at night. We grew up at the lake. And then he would call you over. He was so good.
Sure.
Drop the story and then he'd call you over later. And there'd be this random driftwood far away. He's like, okay, look, that might be. I think that's it. And
or then maybe some boat wake that was rippling, and he's like...
When there was no boat.
Yeah, or the boat had already gone around the corner, and he was like, look, this was the creature.
And then he would take us, in the boat to these caves that...
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and he's so never dropped his cover.
I think he was planting seeds when you were young to plant doubt when you were older. It would grow into this whole, if I'm getting older and wanting to sneak off and maybe have some shenanigans of sorts.
Oh, no.
There's this creature that could attack me if I go try to cause trouble or do something I shouldn't be doing. So I think he was being smart, and he was planting seeds that grew into fruition and helped you to not.
Okay, now he told me another one.
Okay.
And I believed this. I believed it. And I was terrified. Watermelon seeds. Have you heard this?
I have heard this one. It's very funny. And I don't think you're alone. I think this is one of those that a lot of people buy into. Our little kids, they're told this. And then obviously when they get older.
My stepdad told me that if you ate watermelon seeds, that's what happened to pregnant women. They're growing watermelons. I was terrified.
So these women, they were thin. And then all of a sudden they just got this giant ball.
Watermelon.
And then they ate a watermelon seed.
I would never eat a watermelon seed. I would go through meticulously and pick them all out before I would eat watermelon. And then he would, if we were in a store, he would show me, look, she ate watermelon. And I'd be like, oh.
Especially if they're in, the produce section, that's the perfect time to, stay away from the watermelon.
He was so clever.
Yeah, I thought that about my grandpa, actually.
So clever.
My grandpa had, a rock-hard gut. Okay, he wasn't I have a tummy, and it's squishy, And I'm sorry, Kim was drinking tea and nearly did a spit take. Sorry. So, but my grandpa, and you've seen it, certain people, they get it's more of a rock hard ball.
My stepdad had that.
Yeah, it's like they swallowed a bowling ball or ate a watermelon seed. Yeah, it's so it's funny. It's almost yes, you got the pregnant women, but you also have men. They're usually past middle age and they've got that pot belly, and it's I would poke my grandpa's belly because it was just different than. And he would get mad at me and, say things. But, yeah.
Well, I have a list of some common fibs.
Oh, can I give one?
Yes.
I want to guess one. This one was one, and my mom and dad told me this because as a kid, I was good at crossing my eyes.
Oh,
and so I was crossing my eyes, and my mom warned me, don't do that. They will get stuck that way.
Yep.
And like she would tell me a story of a cousin I had that had eyes that got crossed, and it was actually, I think they had some sort of illness, and it was like they got sick and their eyes crossed for a little bit.
So your mom used the illness to back up her lie.
Yeah, and so but his eyes became fine. It was just something went wrong. I don't know what it was, but I just remember hearing the story later on. But I was like, my mom told me it was because he was crossing his eyes. And so, yeah, because I could cross my eyes as a kid all the time. And I was told, don't do that because your face will stick. And that's another one. You make that face and it'll stick like that. And they'll come up with a story of a relative whose face sticks like that. And you see people and you're just like, I wonder if it's because their face was stuck like that. They made that, it's like you get it gets weird. And you just like, you start judging people and you're like, oh, I bet their face stuck like that because they were making their face. And you get, that's not right.
No, it's rude.
It's not right. So parents, don't tell your kids if they make a face, they'll get stuck like that.
Don't do it. Okay, so here you go. Did you hear this one growing up? Eating carrots will give you night vision.
I've heard it'll give you night vision. It'll just give you better vision. And then their data on that one is you've never seen a rabbit wearing glasses.
Yeah, because that's... I mean, no, carrots are good for you, and they have vitamin A, which is good for your eyes. But it doesn't help your eyes.
No, so kids, you don't have to eat those carrots.
No, you do because they're good for you.
They're good for you. But mine was along those lines was eat the spinach because it'll make you strong like Popeye.
Oh yes.
And that one had a cartoon backing it up, right? Look, Popeye gets strong from eating his spinach, and if you eat spinach, you'll have. And then, of course, inevitably, your dad will roll up his sleeves and be like, look! And you're like, okay, Dad, you probably should eat more spinach, too.
My stepdad would flash his forearms.
Oh, he had the big forearms.
And tell me that, I couldn't date a guy with forearms smaller than
But guess who you ended up with? That's right, forearms ranking.
Come on. Okay, did you hear this one? If you swallow your gum, it'll stay in your stomach for 7 years.
7 years. 7 years. Listen, if you're listening to this, I bet you've heard that.
I've heard it.
And it's like, yeah.
Oh, I had a teacher that would be like, 7 years.
And then I heard a mother actually dispel that one because she's like, when you were a baby, you swallowed gum and I changed your diaper and found it. So it doesn't stay there. It goes through. It has the lasting ability to where it could, but your body knows how to pass those things. It ends up in the toilet.
All right. How about drinking coffee will stunt your growth?
I've heard that one. Yeah.
See, my parents I didn't like coffee. So
yeah, I heard
they
that
didn't
one.
try that on me.
And my dad was kind of short. So I thought, yeah, maybe my dad
was proof.
My dad was the proof of that one. He drank coffee as a kid and didn't eat enough spinach.
Okay. So
I'm sorry, Dad, if you're listening, I apologize.
Yeah, you're harsh on your dad today. Okay, my mom played this card a ton.
Okay.
You can't go swimming 30 minutes after you've eaten.
That's true, yeah. And that one sticks. You get a cramp and you will drown.
Yeah.
Maybe if you've had an all-you-can-eat buffet, that's probably not a good idea to go swim. If you've had like a sandwich or a candy bar, something small.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things that would be very rare. And, you'd have to be like trying to swim tons of laps or something. Yeah. I've heard that one.
Oh, my parents played that one a lot.
Everybody was buying into that one because I lived by the lake. And so it was just like, it was time out. It was like, you could not get back in that water. Can we at least wade? No, can't even wade.
You can't stick your toe in. Your toe will get a cramp.
Your toe get a cramp and you trip into the water.
Okay, this one I always thought was funny, but I believed it. Like, I believed it.
Okay.
And I think part of me still believes it.
Ooh.
Okay.
You drank the Kool-Aid on this one.
I mean, yes.
Okay, let's hear it.
If you touch a toad, you'll get warts.
I have heard that one.
I know it's stupid.
They will pee on your hand, and then you will develop warts.
And I don't want to touch a toad because
apparently toads have warts, and they get them by touching each other. And there you go. Yes, I've heard that one.
I can't. I know it's.
I mean, it's probably not great to have a toad peeing on your hand.
Your immune system is amazing, and
I've also heard from having sweaty hands, you can get warts and things like that. Who knows?
I totally bought into it.
Yeah. That one I've heard. The warts one. Yeah.
Okay, now this is a dumb one.
Which, you think it's funny, before we go, there is a town near, and we live in the Ozarks. There's a town in the Ozarks called Toad Suck, Missouri. Or maybe it's Arkansas. I can't remember. Toad Suck. Who? I mean, like if they're like if parents are trying to get their kids not to touch them,
Don't
but if they live in Toadsuck, are they like they're like we're not even gonna touch that one?
What is with like?
We could do a whole podcast about Ozark names. And
I don't know that I'd want to be like the mayor or
of Toadsuck. Oh come on, who wouldn't want to be the mayor of Toadsuck?
What's your job? I'm a mayor of a small town. It's really inconsequential. It doesn't matter.
I wouldn't even do that. I'd be like, I'm in retail. I'd go in a completely different direction.
Okay, so this one I've also heard, and I tried to do it.
So you tried to myth bust this one.
But I can't.
Okay.
If you sneeze with your eyes open, your eyes will pop out.
I can do it. I've done it. Yeah.
I can't.
And your eyeballs will not pop out.
I cannot sneeze with my eyes open.
No, your eyeballs are attached better than that.
They're not like
Now, that being said, you do have connections from your sinuses into your eyes. Like, I have, like, been able to blow air out of my eye, like, right underneath my eyelid.
Okay, that's weird.
Oh, yeah, it was weird. I was blowing my nose, and I felt it creep up into my eyelid. Because there are little channels that can go up into your eyelids. So air can pass through. I am partly. I'm at least half. So
that's just creepy.
But so you can get like, but there's no way it's not going to happen.
Man. Okay. You've heard this one, I know, because you've talked about popping your knuckles gives you arthritis.
Oh yeah. My dad would tell that. Another one my dad would tell me, and he would show me his knuckles, and his knuckles were kind of big. See, look, you pop your knuckles, you're going to get arthritis. And no, I know. There we go. Hold on. Let me swear. Oh, you hear that, Dad?
Oh, come on.
Dad,
okay.
you hear that?
Stop.
Now, everybody who pops their knuckles, when they just heard that, now they want to pop their knuckles and possibly are popping their knuckles right now.
Whoa.
It's like a sneeze. It's contagious. Or a yawn. I'm sorry, a yawn. Yawning's contagious. And I've heard that one, but it's true. It's true. It's psychological, but it's true.
Yes. Okay. So reading in the dark will damage your eyes.
Didn't bother me.
I still read in the dark.
I still didn't.
I figured I'd eat some carrots and improve my night vision. Just in case, I'll still read in the dark. It's fun.
Okay, how about this one? Now, this one was one my mom would do.
Okay.
This is about parents telling lies. So obviously, I'm going to call out my parents on this one, and maybe my grandpa occasionally. But we'd be driving down the road, right? We're driving down the road, and we'd see a cop car either behind us or, like at a stoplight, we'd see it or whatever. And kids were like, cop car's cool, And we turned to look at the cop car, and we'd be like, oh, it's a cop car, and look at it. Yeah. My mom was like life or death. It's like, do not look at the cop car. Do not look. They will pull us over. And it's like, just for looking at them? Yes, they will pull us over for looking. They'll think we're up to something. And I'm like, my mom would get onto us if we're looking at a cop car. And I'm like, cops know kids are going to like to look at cop cars. But my mom flipped out on us.
Good thing it wasn't a canine unit. You're like, what the
my goodness. It's the puppy. No, it'd just be a regular cop car, but we'd be like, it's cool, it's a cop car. If they're following us, my mom would freak out. I'm like, are you doing something illegal, Mom, that we need to be aware of?
I love the idea of that, like going to court and standing before a judge.
Yeah. Or like the officer pulled you over. I pulled you over.
I looked at you.
You looked at me. You looked at me.
That's like a ridiculous lie.
But it happens because they'll think you're up to something. They'll pull you over. Well, if we're not up to something, even if they pull us over, there should not be a problem.
Oh my, that's really funny. All right. This one was silly. I think my parents told me it as a joke, and I didn't believe it, but I thought it was funny.
All right.
Chocolate milk comes from brown cows.
Well, remember, we talked about that in a podcast. Like, there's a certain percentage of Americans adult Americans that believe that, like 7%. I remember I brought that up in a podcast that there's still a percentage of grown-ups, if you're listening, chocolate milk does not come from brown cows. I mean, I guess technically it could come from any cow, but they still have to add the chocolate. We'll just leave it at that. Right. It comes from them. It doesn't come out chocolate.
Right.
It's just milk. So, okay, I got one for you.
Okay.
This is more like your teachers would use it. The teachers would use this one to get you to behave. And it was more like along the lines of high school, but it was the whole, if you do this, this will go on your permanent record. Like as if high school was this FBI file, right? And like, this will go on your permanent record, all right? So, it's like, yes, we'd love to accept you into our college, but it shows here in your 8th grade year, you were late to class and you picked on a kid. And it's like, the permanent record, which didn't really matter because I didn't finish high school. I went straight to college. So I don't even know. I don't know where my permanent record is, but it's like,
it's in some
you
sort
stole a pencil in third grade
sealed vault.
and you're no longer eligible for this job. But yeah, I just thought it was funny. It's like it was going to follow you your whole life, your permanent record. And I'm like, once you're out of college, nobody looks at high school at all. It's just a mechanism to get people to behave.
That's
Permanent
true.
record.
Okay, have you heard this one? No, we did this one a ton.
Okay.
My parents did this.
Okay.
If you sit too close to the TV, you're gonna get eye
yeah.
damage. You're
Eye
gonna hurt your
damage.
eyes.
Yes.
Scoot back.
Yes.
You're too close. You're too close.
To the TV. I mean, if you think about it, it's a those CRT tubes that they had. I mean, who knows? They could explode even.
I mean, yeah, you'll get a headache, but it probably won't damage your vision any.
Yeah. I don't know. I work at computers a lot in my vision, but I'm also past 40, so that's what my eye doctor says is the problem. It has nothing to do with the TV. It's the age.
Well, Mr. Rankin,
it's every time.
You're old.
My eye doctor is the same age as I am. He's like, I'm in it with you, buddy. I'm like, I don't care. Fix me.
Can we be out of it?
Fix me. What can we do to fix this?
That's so funny. That's so funny. Yeah, lies we were told as children.
Yeah, there's a lot, and I know that there's some things. It's like the truth is something that parents should try to protect their kids from, at least for a time. Especially if it's involving content that's older than they are ready to handle. But some of the ones, it's just like I just think they're messing with you. Like when I was a kid, and some things it didn't really matter. Like when I was a kid, we moved to this house, and nearby was this giant shed. It was vacated. There was no one there, but inside there were lots of magazines of questionable content. And I was like, if they were honest with me and just like told me, what it was, I'd have been like, great, whatever. But they're like, don't go in there. There's snakes in there. There's lots of snakes in there. And so parents, I think, will try to protect their kids from things that, they should not. But I think a lot of times honesty in that helps, because the more disillusioned we get as we get older, it's like, what can I believe that my parents are telling me?
That's so
Never
funny.
eating spinach again.
I mean, yeah, I mean, honestly, like, I think it's the way it's told. Because my stepdad was so convincing.
I don't know. The way I see when he told me those things, I'm like, man, he can tell he's joking. His poker face was horrible.
No, he was so convincing.
He would just continue. He would just keep digging in with it. He wouldn't back down.
I'm like, if you're lying, you'd give up by now. But
yeah,
he kept imparting that wisdom.
So now we have a full-grown human, who's also known as our son, Connor.
We have a full-grown human.
Did we do something? Were there lies we told him that you can remember? Were there things that we were like, we didn't fully tell him the truth, or we were like, let's,
I actually asked him that question.
Really?
I said, hey, what lies do you think we told you? And the first one that he could think of was this, that sitting still was super important.
Oh.
I'm like, wait a minute. No, sitting still is super important. No, Mom, not everything was a sitting still time.
But when you were telling him to sit still at that time, it was super important.
Yeah. But that's like the one thing. He's like,
that's not a lie.
You put way too much importance on sitting still in places.
Now, I get it. If you're an active kid, you need to be able to have that outlet. But there's time, like usually it was after a parent-teacher conference that conversation came up, because he was not much on sitting still in school.
No,
and it was like,
he's not much on sitting still, period.
He's still not. And my favorite memory of that, and it was kind of along those lines, was the stores we would go into, and we were like, now this is a no-touch store. Because he had that compulsion to constantly touch things.
Yeah,
and it would have been a great opportunity for us to instill germophobia in him and be like, dude, there's germs on everything. If you touch them, you'll catch whatever. And, we could have really raised a nice germ. But we just told him, don't do it. Show some self-control, boy. And he's like, but I got to touch. And we're like, okay, tell you what, when we're in the store, we'll let you know if there's something you can touch in there. And then you just hang on until then. But yeah.
The people that have to touch everything in stores, I think are a bit awesome.
I was gonna say you're gonna talk them people up, because we cannot pass a blanket or a stuffed animal.
It's so soft
without you touching.
I have to touch it. I don't care about dishes.
Kim, there are well, no one's gonna touch dishes.
But it's the soft bits.
It's the blankets, like the fuzzy blanket type things. It's occasionally pillows, like throw pillows, especially if they're softer looking, and clothing. The clothing that has like the soft clothing.
Yes.
Then you're like,
some things you have to touch.
And then even stuffed animals. If we go down an aisle, like a toy aisle or something.
Yes.
Kim, did you know that bad guys, they put illegal drugs on those soft things, and if you touch them, you might get infected with illegal drugs.
Will I get warts?
And warts. And they rub toads all over soft things.
Ew.
So you'll get warts.
No, that is lies that Caleb tells me.
There were, I don't. Okay, there's one I did. I do remember one. I didn't
a lie you told me?
I let you off right away, but it was when you were pregnant with Connor and you were really late.
Oh, I was so mad at you.
So like you were 2 weeks overdue?
Yes.
And so you're 2 weeks overdue, miserable. And
I was a little fussy.
We were going to go out to dinner and you were like, I just wanted this baby out of me. And I'm like, listen, this is tried and true. Okay. It's like, if you eat Mexican food, it has been known to send people into labor. Like you could literally go into labor and she's like, really, Mexican food? I'm like, yes, it happens all the time in Mexico. And like, she got mad at me because it's true. Okay. It happens all the time. I could have, if I wanted Chinese food, because I wanted Mexican, that was the only reason. If I wanted Chinese food, I could have sold it even more, but like billions of people go into labor after having
It was Chinese a very self-serving lie.
It was. But
do you know that your nose will grow if you tell lies?
That is not true.
Your nose will just grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. Yeah.
Did you know that your ears and nose are parts of your body that never stop growing the older you get? Now that is true. That is not a lie.
And that bothers me.
And whenever at my age, I'm only 45, and I'm already like, wow, this is not going to get good by the time I'm 90.
It's not going to get good.
I started thinking about that because like people in the Bible lived to like 900 years. Can you imagine how big their noses and ears were?
That's where we got the story at Dumbo.
From Methuselah. He was. Oh my goodness, we got way off track there. But it is crazy. There's lots of and I get it. The idea is typically behavioral control, or at least getting them to eat their vegetables, or getting them to not do something that's harmful or that could have another harmful, or to really just to stop being annoying and stop making that face you're making. Those are the things, or to get you to sit still in a car so that you can say that the cops will pull you over. All those things. It's like we say these things basically to get kids to behave, when really it's just like mom's favorite saying should be enough because I said so. How many times did you get that? I got that more than I got a lie made up because I said so.
Or the ever popular do as I say, not as I do.
Oh, that's I
didn't love that one.
Yeah. There's just some things grown-ups get to do that the kids don't, but they also have to do things that kids don't have to, like paying taxes.
I'm fine with mom and dad, doing some adulting stuff, but eating ice cream before dinner when I can't, but you're hiding behind the freezer with the tub open. That seems a little unfair.
I never really got the do as I say, not as I do. I just got the do as I say, and that was enough. It's like, okay. It wasn't about what they did or didn't do, but
parenting is hard.
Yes. And
is hard.
Sometimes we just need a little leverage to help
make it through the day.
And sometimes it involves telling kids something that is convenient.
Convenient.
But that was interesting. There's a lot of them, but and like I said, of course, there's all the magical creatures, the unicorns, and all that. That
I think somewhere out there we're gonna find something.
I think
crazy.
I'm gonna be weird, and I'm gonna say it now. I think there's dinosaurs still out there somewhere. Which technically there are, because crocodiles and alligators are considered technically dinosaurs that are still alive. So, from what I've heard, that's what I don't know. That's a lie. My teacher
let's go look for something.
Hey, you know what though? Okay, real quick before we leave, I did have a teacher. My 6th grade teacher was full of lies. Let's just leave it that way. She told us, this was like her thing. She told us that Walt Disney and Neil Armstrong, the man who walked on the moon,
right?
They were both illiterate. Huh. Yeah, that they were both illiterate and that they couldn't read. And I'm just like, why are you even, if that's true, why are you even telling us that? Because I could just drop out of school and still become a success, right? Because I could be illiterate.
Pretty.
But she said a lot of things that were just like,
Huh.
She had a lot of them. Those are the two I remember the most.
They were very literate.
Walt Disney and Neil Armstrong were illiterate, but no, they were obviously, they were very literate. You can't really do well in the military if you can't read and write. And definitely, Walt Disney drew comic strips, so he had to learn how to letter comic strip, things like that. So.
Let's go look for some dinosaurs.
We're going to look for some dinosaurs and some unicorns.
Got it. I'm ready.
All right. We'll see you next time.
Bye.